Greetings to all. Students, we have started the chapter Federalism. Yesterday we have discussed about the key features of federalism. Federalism means existence of two or more levels of government. Here we are talking about levels of government. First we have discussed the define. The next we have discussed about the key features. Now let's start with some other forms of power sharing. So let's start with the second para. The exact, so we are to start from here because upper side we have discussed the 7 features of federalism. So the second para, the exact balance of power between the central and the state government varies from one federation to another. This balance depends mainly on the history or historical context in which the federation was formed. There are two kinds of roots. So underline these lines. There are two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. Underline this. Hanji, here we are talking about that the how can we balance power sharing structure. So it is based on the historical background in which the federation was formed. So there are mainly two routes or two ways by which we can form the federations or federations have been formed. The first route involves, please underline this one also. The first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit. So that by pooling sovereignty means independence, freedom or free from any outer control, that is sovereignty, and retaining means retaining identity, they can increase their security. So here the independent states, they come together to form a group, a bigger unit, so that they can retain their identity and at the same time they can increase their security. This type of coming together federations include the USA, Switzerland and Australia. These are some of the examples. In the first category of federations, all the constituent states usually have equal powers and are strong vis-a-vis the federal government. So here all the independent states which are coming to form a bigger unit, they have equal powers, equally strong, and they are equally they have equal powers and they are equally strong. Means no one is working under as a subordinate to the other. Next, the second route is where a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. Here, a big country, a wide country, decides to divide its powers between its the union government, the national government, and the different states. India, Spain, and Belgium. See, in the previous chapter, we have discussed the case of Belgium. So, India, Belgium, and Spain are examples of this kind of holding together federation. In this second category, the central government tends to be more powerful vis-a-vis the state. Means the state government is more powerful than the state governments. Means central government have some more powers. Very often different constituent units of the federation have unequal powers. Some units are granted special powers. In India also, we know that some of the states, they are given some special status or some special powers. About this we will discuss in this chapter. Later on we will discuss this also. So here the center government in the second route or the second type of federation, that is holding together. Here the central government is more powerful than the states. Okay, so see in the glossary one, jurisdiction. Yesterday when we were discussing about federalism, we have discussed that the each tier of government has its own jurisdiction. So the jurisdiction, the area over which someone has legal authority, means some power to take decisions according to the situation or related to the area. The area may be defined in terms of geographical boundaries or in terms of certain kinds of subjects. You understand it? Subjects like the union government, the distribution of powers in the union list, then state list, concurrent, then residuary subjects. Later on we will discuss about all these in the chapter. Now next. So I think about it, this is clear, holding together and coming together. So this is a very important topic. So you are to read it carefully. Now next, see what makes India a federal country. So what are the main features of Indian power sharing which makes India a federal country? We have earlier seen how small countries like Belgium and Sri Lanka face so many problems of managing diversity. So, in the case of Belgium, we have seen that different lingual communities, means French, Dutch, and German, the government shared power among all these communities equally so that there may not be any kind of dispute, conflicts between or among all these communities, and they can live together and work as a bond. And in case of Sri Lanka, where we have seen that the government followed preferential policies, and later on there were situations, or there was a situation of partition like situation in the country, that the people belonging to the Tamil community started feeling alienated, that their interests have not been taken care of. So we have discussed both the examples or both the cases in the chapter 1. So what are the power sharing arrangements in our country? Like if we talk about India, we have a diverse population, means the people speak different languages, they live in different regions, they have different religions, they have different culture, different eating habits, different clothing habits. So everything we have, I think India is a country with vast diversities. So what kind of arrangement can be done in India so that the people of all the communities live together or work together? So that I think in class 6 you people have studied about the term unity in diversity in the very first chapter of civics. And that is, this term was used by our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He coined the term unity in diversity, means the diverse population, the people belonging to diverse groups live with unity. Hanji, so next, let us begin with the constitution. India had emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partition. So about partition also we all know that lakhs of people lost their lives at the time of partition. Soon after independence, several princely states became a part of the country. So this also we have studied in class 8, that the different princely states, independent princely states, came together to be a part of India or form our country, India. The constitution declared India as a union of states, means union, I think you understand, the group of states, that all the different independent states came together to form a union or form a group. Although it did not use the word federation, the Indian Union is based on the principle of federalism. So here I think this is understood that Indian Union because in constitution the word union of states is used. So the Indian Union, it is based on the principle of federalism. I think this is clear to everyone. Federalism means existence of two or more levels of government. When we talk about two or more levels of government, here we are talking about the central government and the state government. And beside these two levels of government, we have third level of government, that is local self bodies. And later in the chapter, we will discuss about those also. I think this is clear to everyone. So, what is your work today? You are to learn that this question that is coming together federations and holding together federation. So, read this, and if you have any question, any query, discuss with me in the class. Have a nice day.